of your faces, of all the love you gave me. I made mistakes that made you angry. I didn't listen to your wise words. You gave me your trust. It's 'cause of you I live. The sun rises and new horizons reveal themselves to me. As age becomes a consideration, with new eyes I now see. With renewed strength and motivation, I look at life in celebration. A more mature phase in my life begins. Till now, never thought about how hard it must have been. The sacrifices they all made just so that I could live. The sun rises and new horizons reveal themselves to me. Yes, age becomes a consideration. With new eyes I now see. With renewed strength and motivation, I look at life in celebration. A more mature phase in my life begins. In spite of all my flaws, you allowed me my mistakes. Built me up when I was down. 'Cause of you I'm here today. The sun rises and new horizons reveal themselves to me. As age becomes a consideration, with new eyes I now see. With renewed strength and motivation, I look at life in celebration. A more mature phase in my life begins. The sun rises and new horizons reveal themselves to me. As age becomes a consideration, new eyes I now see. With renewed strength and motivation, I look at life in celebration. A more mature phase in my life begins. I waited for you when you put me through all the pain inside your mind. I'm giving up. You took everything, now you're walking away. This time I think I'm done. We're giving up.
All the important points seem pretty clear, no? They think they control the galaxy. I disagree. Don't hate the player, hate the game, son.
How can it be? She likes to taste the back of me. Obviously, I'm a sucker for a pretty face. Yeah, she got me once, got me twice, thinking real cool. But she was happy high up on that pedestal. What makes her fall from grace? She's a side with her wicked lies. Don't believe in Christ. The victor's got sin in her eyes. Come on, baby. I don't wanna fight. Girl, it don't matter who is wrong or right. We can forgive and forget and pretend everything is alright. So you and I can lie. How can you be a friend of me and then turn right around and stab my back like an enemy? Such a coward with a pretty pretty face. Yeah, she got me once, got me twice, thinking we were cool, but she was happy high up on that pedestal. What makes her fall from grace? She's a side with her wicked lies. Don't believe in Christ. The victor's got sin in her eyes. Bitches all the same, crazy, always playing games, stuck in their selfish ways. Watch as they change lanes. I'ma touch fame, buzz, bet the catch flame. Fuck the haters, fuck the game. Watch as I take aim. Just another slice of the game. What a shame. Watch everything I've walked the world. I'm not the world you're so blessed. You hate the player, hate the game. Steady dissing all the haters that told me I wouldn't make it while I sat on my haters. I'm in the studio creating all these bitches slain. Keep on playing, playing, keep all these haters playing. Come on, baby girl. I don't wanna fight no more. Say it don't matter who was wrong or right. We can forgive and forget and pretend everything is alright. So you and I can lie.
Well, all right. Happy, merry hump day. It's been a minute, but we're back for Bangover Wednesday. For those of you that don't know, we're down in the south here, so we were dodging hurricanes last week, so part of the reason why we didn't air last week. Also, it was 9/11, so we didn't have a show. But glad to have everyone back. And as always, we start the show with the Bangover Wednesday Spotify playlist. And Bo and Dom can both back me up whenever I say I get so excited every time I start the show with the playlist, because every band you hear is a band that we had the honor and privilege to have on the show. And I think both Bo and Dom say it on almost every show. It's amazing the quality and caliber of bands we were able to get on the show. And from damn near to punk all the way down to the most nastiest, heaviest stuff you can dream of. And then obviously, like the last band we heard coming in, they're just in a different world with their style, and it's amazing what we've seen on the show. And tonight's going to be no different. We got some really cool bands here with us tonight. We also have a special guest host. So let me just go ahead and go straight into some intros. Actually, no, let me just tell you what bands we have tonight. So we do have the band Misconceptions and the band Supposition, and we'll also have a little sneak peek at a new track from Elijah coming out later. And so now let me get back to those intros. So as always on the co-host panel, guitarist for the band Elijah, who we'll be listening to later tonight, and our resident gear guru and our newscaster, that's Bo. Also joining us tonight in spirit on camera is vocalist for the bands Distance is Dead, A Day on Earth, and also the artist behind the band Set Alive, and also an avid TikTok content creator. We got Dom. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm the man behind the mask of Forged by Titans and creator of Bangover Wednesday. Now, that special guest we have tonight is from a show that does something very similar to what we do. They get bands on, they listen to the tracks, and do reviews, and that's how I was able to find the show, because a lot of bands that's been on this show have also been on that show. So we got Jen Conley from Bangover Cult joining us tonight. Thanks for coming on, Jen. And so let's see, where do I want to go next? One of the bands asked me this question earlier, so let me just plug it real quick. We are in the process of getting all of the Twitch episodes on YouTube. So if you would like, find your way over to YouTube, find the Bangover Wednesday show, subscribe it. It costs you nothing. And if you feel like getting involved with the giveaway we're doing on YouTube, subscribe, comment the word certified on any episode, and you'll get entered into a full swag pack. And that'll get you pretty much one of everything that we have on the merch store. So if you want in on that, go do that. So that was a long intro. I'm a little winded. So let's just go straight to the first band tonight. We have Troy and Jericho from the band Misconceptions. Why don't you guys hop on in here, tell us a little about the band and the track we're about to check out.
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? I'm the vocalist for Misconceptions. We're from Port Orange, Florida. We blend the early 2010 metalcore with that modern vibe. And the song you guys are about to check out is just very simple. It's labeled Avarice. It's just about greed.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, these guys did send us in a YouTube video. We don't get them all the time, but we're always excited to get them. So if you are following along at home, make sure you put your eyes on Twitch so you can enjoy the video as well. And here we go. We're about to check out Avarice from Misconceptions. Here we go.
person I've become. All forgot in spite of all your sins. Waiting for levitation, what your heart is anger you down. Explain what is worth it. Your soul forever forgiven. Deserve is yet the reason why you won't levitate. Reach out into the wilderness to see what pulls you in.
All right, and always we go all the way to 0. There we go. All right. So, with that said, going all the way to the end. Just so for everyone's knowledge, Bo, Dom, and myself never listened to these tracks ahead of time. We joke about it that if you ever wanted to Rickroll us, you would get us because we just listened to it the night of the show live. So this is our first time hearing it, along with all of you at home. So so keep that in mind as we go into all that. And please don't Rickroll us, even though I opened myself up for that. So I'm gonna start off by just saying, badass track. Great way to start the show. And usually we let Dom kind of take the lead because he likes to ask certain questions to lead us off. But since we do have a special guest host tonight, Bangover Cult, why don't you give us your thoughts on this track?
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I definitely love the track. Greed is definitely a relatable topic, especially in the music industry. Where did you get the inspiration for this song for?
I guess I'll answer that one. So it's kind of ironic, but I was reading a lot of like religious context, and avarice is mentioned in the like biblically speaking, and I like writing a lot about, or my lyrics anyways are always constructed about like kind of like historical stuff, and that was just the vibe I was on that week when we were writing the song.
Hell yeah. Any other questions, Miss Conley?
Well, I gotta say again, it's definitely a heavy track. I love the heavy. How did you guys get started as a band?
No, that's going down a rabbit hole. So me and Jericho were in a local band in Connecticut called In Amber Skies. It was like a hardcore band. We met a lot of great musicians up in the Connecticut scene, and ironically, some of our best friends all moved down south with us around the same time. And our guitarist, who's not here right now, his name's Marty. He does primarily all the writing. He was like, "Hey, we should start something again," and I was like, "All right, cool." So it started way back in like 2014, and then we released like a song that got pretty big for a while, and then didn't do anything for years, and then now we're like back in full swing.
Very cool. Well, I can't wait to hear more music from you guys.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. And I was about to ask a question, but you know what? It's actually in Bo's world. So Bo, get in here and ask your questions before I start stealing it.
I got to go over the basics. What kind of like tuning were you using for that? Do you know?
That is done in drop G.
Drop G. All right, we're going like 7 or 8 strings, or
I believe that's actually 6-string baritone.
nice. That's nice. Okay. So like the video, was that kind of DIY?
Yeah, our lead guitarist is a graphic designer, and that was like his first attempt at making a video, because he normally does like sports content. So
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. We're actually the video we're gonna drop at the end of the show. We also did a DIY thing on, and that's pretty cool. You guys did a great job with that. I'm a sucker for the lyric videos because I can't pay attention to what the lyrics might be at all. So
I'll definitely pass that along to him then.
yeah. What we so like how about like the recording part of it? Did we do a lot of DIY on that or yeah?
That's all done right there.
What okay. Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice setup.
Thank you.
We got to ask every person that comes on the show, were you doing like plugins or what were you doing for like the guitars?
So for guitars, our guitarist records his takes in DIs, sends it to me. I edit it, and then I reamp it through my Kemper.
Okay.
And then vocals are done through hardware, 1176 and LA2A, both Clark Technics. They're clones, but they still work.
Phones are good, man. Who cares?
Yep.
Yeah, hell yeah. I do, the drums was that like MIDI drums mostly or
Yeah, so
a
that's
little bit of both?
over there. I have that is a $40 kit I bought and made all the triggers and everything for it. So
Okay.
that is an electronic drum set that's made out of a real drum set. And then that's all just triggering my own Patch and Superior drummer layered with samples that I found on the internet.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Well, I love the track.
Thank you.
Definitely. We always love the DIY part of it, and you guys did a great job. I'm a sucker for that kind of music too. So all over, I'm gonna be a fan of it. And yeah, drop G on a baritone 6-string. I like that. That's not what we usually get. So
Yeah,
cool.
that must have been fun to set up for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I bought the cheap Harley Benton, and I put Invader pickups in it and locking tuners. That thing stays in tune all the time, and it's got a 30-inch scale on it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
almost a bass guitar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I went with the Squire Cabernita baritone, Paranormal Cabernita, and I'm not gonna lie, I go pretty low too. So I get mine down into F sharp, and it's a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, my 7 strings in drop F, and my 8 string is in double drop C.
Oh yeah.
And all that
All
setup is all DIY as well. I watched a couple of YouTube videos and then set up my guitars.
Nothing wrong with that either. That's how we get stuff done.
Exactly.
All right, I'm gonna turn it over to Dom, but I love the track, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was freaking sick, guys. Seriously, the intro, this is like a weird reference, but like the kind of glitchy vocals and then the layering going over it with kind of like the text stuff kind of reminded me like an intro to like a badass intro to Kingdom Hearts game. Like, I don't know if anyone's played Kingdom Hearts. That's kind of what it reminded me of, but it's freaking sick.
So originally, the end of that song was the beginning as well, and I just felt like it was not good enough, and so I took the chorus and some synths and sound design that whole intro out of it.
Yeah, no, that was sick, dude.
Thank
and
you.
then kind of coming in and going heavy, just freaking heavy as shit. Like, I mean, we had one guy in the chat say, "How jacked are your drummer's calves?" Like, I mean, seriously.
My calves are pretty jacked.
They're thick.
So I mean that was badass. It was like really melodic. It was heavy. I know you guys said earlier, like mix between 2010s metalcore blended with like some modern stuff. Like, I don't know. I was expecting in my head. I was kind of thinking like, okay, like, are we gonna get like a Kill Switch Bullet vibe? Like, what are we gonna get? And then it just went heavy as shit, and I was like, dude. So, I mean, awesome job, guys. But kind of walk me. I guess question for the vocalist. How long you been doing vocals, man?
It's probably about like 2010. I was awful when I first started in our first band. You can ask Jericho. I was our guitarist, then I was our bassist, and then they were like, "You want to try vocals?" And I was like, "Sure." Fast forward a few years, I ended up playing for this band called Burning Beneath once our high school band kind of split up and everyone started moving. And they were a pretty big deathcore band in the Connecticut scene. And actually, Ben from Shadow of Intent is who I replaced. which is insane. So I started like honing in on trying to figure out different vocal styles and sequences, and so it's been, I would say, around 10, 15 solid years already. It's been a long time.
So, are metal screams easy?
No, I think that Jared Dines video, if anyone's ever seen that, is a great plug to let people know that not everyone can just scream.
Hell yeah. So I guess just a general question. What did you have anything that helped you, or like learning materials or anything that helped you have any breakthroughs with your screaming or just your vocals in general?
Yeah, the biggest breakthrough honestly was two things. One, Kyle Minsner, he's currently the bassist for Face Yourself. He was the band designer for that deathcore band that I was in Connecticut. He's also an insane vocalist. He helped me kind of develop those tunnel screams that I did during the breakdown, which that's actually more primarily my style. And then Marty, who is in our chat, he's our lead guitarist. He's also an excellent vocalist. He's been pushing me to get back more into my roots, which is like more hardcore yell mixed with that nostalgic 2010 metalcore, which has been fun. It's like relearning something that I haven't seen or done in a long time. And I think it's kind of giving our project a lot of like variation, where you can hear some like hardcore, New England hardcore influence, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, he can brie as well. So we're just trying to keep it fresh.
Hell yeah. So I mean, you guys have been it sounds like you guys have been in the scene quite a while. Like, I guess for this band specific, what are some of your guys' inspirations?
Like musically speaking, or just like
other bands or music in general?
We're technically now located in Florida, and we have met some really cool bands down here, but we're currently basically a studio project. We do have aspirations of playing shows in the future. So like I'm trying to meet more of the local scene around here. I've been to a few venues and like got to meet a couple cool bands. But like for us inspirationally, I hate to say like bigger bands, but like for instance for me vocally, it's Make Them Suffer. That's always been my big inspiration vocally.
Well, Marty said you guys are heavily influenced by NSYNC.
He is 100%. Yeah,
I'm looking at it in chat.
So I wish I was able to grab him too. But he's one, he's hilarious. Two, he does listen to primarily like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, and then he writes that stuff. So it's pretty wild. But yeah, there's a lot of different inspirations, but I guess the early 2010 stuff that we mentioned, I guess it's more like Prada and like those bands, and then like the modern stuff is just like Make Them Suffer and like Moss the Flames and stuff like that.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, that's again freaking banger, guys. Like, I think it was unique. The composition was really thorough. It kind of kept you on your toes. You know, you have some bands that will, I mean, it sounds like everybody else, or they come through and then generally it's just nothing surprising you. So it's nice to hear some, you know, composition and the way you constructed the song to kind of go from this like melodic, crazy heavy in your face blast beat, and then even have like that melodic chorus kind of going through. Like, awesome job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On to Forge now.
Yeah, and real quick, since we're talking about like other bands, shout out to Halsey, huge inspiration. You know, I've been recently getting into Ariana Grande recently, you know, so shout out to those guys or gals, I should say. But no, yeah. So, I do want to touch on some of the inspirations, even though you guys kind of are experimenting with the local scene sound more than anything. When you guys were mixing and mastering and selecting your guitar tones, were you guys referencing any other band by chance?
Not really. I just kind of went with whatever I thought sounded good and fit in it. I mean, if there's one thing I've learned from the whole mixing and mastering process is like I've been doing it for a long time, but never actually releasing anything. And I've learned that copying people's presets and using presets in plugins, they don't work well, and you honestly just have to go with what sounds right. And I know it's cliche to say, but it's actually 100% the truth.
Yeah. and it was a very clean mix, and we've talked about it a few times. A lot of people don't understand, and I'm not an engineer either. I don't understand the full science of it, but I do know that each instrument has a specific range in the bandwidth that they need to sit in, and you try not to overlap them. You guys did a really good job with that. You can definitely hear each instrument individually if you wanted to focus in on one of them. The reason I asked about referencing another band because of the guitar tone, and to be honest with you, I still can't even put my finger on it, but the minute I heard the guitar tone, I was like, man, that sounds like a tone I've heard before, and I couldn't put my finger on it, so I was just hoping you maybe jog my memory.
The guitar tone is a capture of a Diesel Herbert, and I mean, from my understanding, I know Era uses Diesels. I didn't capture it myself. I adjusted the settings of it, but the Herbert was actually a profile from an STL Tones pack.
And see that, and that's why I asked, because you did jog my memory, and I feel like it's not early Era and it's not current Era, but somewhere's in between. That's what it kind of reminded me of, and they're in that same tuning for a lot of their tracks too. So
yeah,
I love it.
I believe Era's tuning is a drop tuning, and then I think it's like drop G or drop C, and then they actually tune their top string lower to drop F.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what I was thinking of. I love Era, dude. It's top of my list right now. But like Bo, Dom, and Bangover Cult mentioned, it was a very awesome track. Like I said, I normally stick to the business. It sounded clean. It was well produced. And again, back to what I said at the beginning of the show, the quality of music we get on the show, it amazes me. I always come into the show wondering if tonight's going to be the night where we get a track that's, could use a little work,
Sounds like somebody recorded it on their iPhone.
Yeah. And it just, we never get that, man. People show up with these badass tracks, and it's like, and in awesome stories, doing it in their room, it's
yeah, our whole project is all done in-house. We don't outsource anything to anybody. So
yep, that is awesome, man. And so you guys mentioned something about playing some shows. Did you guys say you had some shows coming up, or are you guys still filling that out?
Well, so Marty, the one in chat, he lives in Alabama. The rest of the band lives in Florida. So getting a schedule for us to work on getting shows done has been a little tough currently, just because we're all working a bunch of different hours and whatnot. So I'm sure you guys all understand how it is. But I am in contacts with 2 promotion companies in Florida, and they are both trying to get us booked for a couple decent sized venues in the Orlando area, which is I guess a pretty big area for metalcore and hardcore in Florida right now. So it's there. It's just getting us to potentially get all together, and then even if not, getting our lead guitarist Cameron, who we call him lead. Marty writes everything, but Cameron does he's been adding a bunch of leads to it. We just got him as our guitarist, so it's been refreshing because he'll take a solo that Marty did, and Marty will be like, hey, can you make this a little different? And he adds a lot of that Era vibe, that prog stuff to it. So once we catch him fully up to speed with our backlog of songs, we could potentially play a show with 4 people, but I would love our first big show to have Marty come down from Alabama and be part of it. That's pretty much what's holding us back right now.
Yeah, there's some about those people in Alabama and all that Roll Tide stuff.
Yeah.
You rolling Tide, Marty?
He's originally from Connecticut too, so but he does occasionally when we're playing Call of Duty, we'll be like, Roll Tide. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah. So I'm over in New Orleans area. If you guys ever decide you want to come further down the Gulf Coast, give me a shout. I know some people out this way. Maybe I can hook you up with a venue or some other bands. So,
Sweet.
Alabama's not too far.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. And with that said, what platforms are you guys primarily pushing for people to come check you out at?
all of our songs are doing pretty well on Spotify, so I always have been directing a majority of our fan base to Spotify, but we're really trying to grow all of our social media. Like if you go on our Facebook, we have like 500 followers, and then the rest of our social media barely has 100 because I'm old and I never did TikTok, and now I'm trying to do TikTok as a 30-year-old. I'm like, what is all this? So we have content on TikTok, Instagram, pretty much everywhere. I would say Instagram and YouTube is what we're trying to push. That's why every song we've released so far has a lyric video pretty much included with it.
Oh yeah, and I have to apologize. I was setting you up so I could say this. So if you can't remember all those places he told you to go, they will be on the Bango Wednesday Spotify playlist after tonight. If you can't remember any of that information, go to the playlist, find these guys, click on their band, and you go straight to their Spotify playlist. Well, now their Spotify band page, and then sky's the limit from there. So I'm gonna keep burning that playlist into everyone's head all night, and not because I curate the playlist, but because we have actual factual proof that the playlist is helping a lot of these bands get heard. We've been fortunate to get bands from all over the world on the show. The playlist now has over 100 bands on it, so it's a bunch of bands sharing their listeners, and again, we have feedback from bands showing numbers how they have exponentially gotten more listens just by being a part of the show. So if you want to support these bands, the best way to do it is go add the playlist and listen to it. So again, sorry for that plug, but back to you guys now. Do you guys have any merch set up yet?
Nope.
We're still in the process of, writing music. We have a lot of songs in the drive right now that are just waiting to be finished. And so at this point, it's just releasing music so that other people can hear us. And yeah.
Oh,
With Cameron though, he is putting a portfolio together for us for merch in the near future. That's pretty much his aspirations. His life is playing guitar and graphic design and eventually merch design and stuff for us. So I'm sure there'll be something put together pretty soon.
and you guys may have touched on it, and I'm just losing my memory. Are you guys just trying to just drop regular releases, or is it you trying to release a full album, or what was that plan?
So right now we have like 40 songs in the backlog because Marty literally writes a new song every Wednesday, and I'm like, oh great, here's my rough vocals every Wednesday. We do have, for the rest of the year, we're planning to release probably about 3, maybe 4 more singles. Definitely 3, and little hint, we're getting a music video done eventually soon too. So that'll be very cool. But we just, for content purposes wise, we just figured releasing singles has been doing pretty well for us, getting our numbers where they need to be. We definitely have enough material to go ahead and drop an EP, which might look into that sometime next year.
Oh yeah. Beat the algorithm, man. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the whole algorithm nowadays is just turned into everybody has 10-second attention spans. So.
Yep. You gotta keep them. You keep engaged.
Putting out new stuff. Yeah, you keep putting out new stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, look, new song. Oh, look, new song," rather than 4 or 5 at a whack.
Yeah, and then the newer stuff, I think you guys are gonna be like shocked. We're constantly changing our sound. We're gonna have like 4 releases that are more like melodic hardcore, and then the next 4 that Marty wrote are like beat down, like almost deathcore-ish.
They're in drop F.
Yeah, on his brand new 7-string. So he's been all giddy writing very heavy stuff with his new 7-string.
Yeah, deathcore is definitely making a strong comeback recently. We've definitely seen a lot of it on the show. You see a lot of it on a lot of bills on festivals and stuff. Is making a comeback for sure. But yeah, again, speaking on behalf of all the other co-hosts, that was a amazing track, man, and we're very glad you guys made the time to come on the show, share it with us, and answer our questions. You guys got some more tracks coming out, and this is for everyone listening. This isn't a one-hit wonder show, so all these bands are always welcome to come back when they release music. I keep in touch with almost every band, so when you guys start dropping some new stuff, hit me up. Maybe we can get you back on and check it out. We would love to do that.
Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you for having us, man.
Oh yeah, and that was Troy and Jericho from Misconceptions, everyone. And so next, I was kind of throwing up what I wanted to do next, and I'm gonna make a call right now. Bo, you got any news for us?
Okay. We have a guest, so I need to do this quick. Pretty wild releases came out on Friday. Like huge list. Like As I Lay Dying, August Burns Red, It Dies Today, Dead Icarus, which is the old frontman for Atreyu, his new project, heavy as hell. Ginger, Under Oath, and Whitechapel, and a bunch of others, all dropped singles last Friday. So much good music came out. It was great. The other one, Jane's Addiction. I don't care about Jane's Addiction, but it's a story.
Yeah.
Singer, Perry Farrell took a swing at Dave Navarro. Guess they had been kind of at each other's throat a little bit for the little tour that they're apparently doing. So that's the thing. And then one more real fast to finish it up. We got David Grohl has another confession to make.
Yeah.
With a baby daughter.
I like that, man.
Not from his wife. So that's the quick news minute for you, and we're gonna move on to the guest there.
I like how you rolled that in there. I got another confession to make. But yeah. So two things real quick about the news stories, and then I'll move on. Is it bad that I wanted Dave Navarro to get folded? I know everyone's probably judging me for that.
We've all seen the Tattoo Show. We all wanted him to get at least one hit,
Yeah, and so real quick, I did check out a lot of those tracks that Bo mentioned, and leave it out in the Twitch chat. But this is the second time or the third time As I Lay Dying's released a track this year, and it's almost like 3 strikes and you're out. It's like I expected something else, not something else necessarily. I just expected to get a certain feel that I'm used to feeling with As I Lay Dying, and it just wasn't there, man. And
they had guests on this one. They had Tom Barber of Chelsea Grin and Alex the Terrible.
I know, and I don't know, but it's a testament to band chemistry and how important it is. They changed some people out. Obviously, the guys that they have now can freaking play. There's no doubt about that. They can write some shit. They can play everything the other guys play. But whenever it comes to writing some new stuff, it's just not the same chemistry. It's not the same feel. And I did listen to August Burns Red. Theirs gave me a little bit better feelings. But you get nostalgic when you hear some of these band names before you listen to the track, and then you get let down, sorta. And they're great tracks. They really are. So please go listen to them if you haven't. But this is just my personal opinion. For me, these bands were so big and such huge influences on my younger days, and it's just not there anymore, man. But
especially if they're trying to keep the same style, and still trying to pump stuff out, and they're just not getting there. Like you got to do something different if you're so burnt out on doing the same stuff you've always done. But I mean, they're doing like August Burns Red still writes August Burns Red music, and that's they write some killer stuff still, but it's still August Burns Red music. I mean, As I Lay Dying, we all know Tim does most of the writing for it, and you can tell it's all Tim's writing, and it's just he's so up and down with that stuff, and it's just, I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
Eat at Chino's, I want an ocean between us vibes again. I agree with that. And that's enough for the news. I'm gonna quit dwelling on it.
We didn't know how good we had it back then.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. You already went and got me in my feels again. But so real quick, let's take a moment. I want to take a moment. I want to talk about the Bangover cult. So I found Bangover cult because bands that have been on this show were on that show after coming on our show, and so I follow the bands. I keep up with them, and I see a few bands hitting up the show. So I was like, hey, let me reach out and see if they would like to join us and co-host a show. So I reached out. They say yes. Here we are. So Miss Jen Conley from Bangover Cult, why don't you tell us a little bit about what goes on your show and how some bands can, I guess, apply to be on the show? Fill us in.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me. This has been a lot of fun. And Bangover Cult started about a year ago, basically just as a page to help support upcoming musicians. Like, there's so much talent out there, and a lot of bands don't get heard. So we're like, what can we? It started as a group chat with a bunch of people, and we're like, what can we do to help? So it just started as a page. We were like sharing music. And then one of our co-hosts was friends with this guy who managed a band in Pennsylvania called the Riot Cup. And they were like, hey, you guys want to interview us live on Instagram? And we're like, okay, didn't even think about doing interviews, but let's do this. And ever since then, we've had bands reach out to us through other bands. They've seen our interviews and they'll contact us to get on. So it's definitely a fun way for people to get to know musicians and their backstories, and also to help get the word out. So if there's any bands that want to be on an interview with us, definitely reach out to the Bangover Cult page on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We're pretty much everywhere. We also have bangovercult@gmail.com. You can email us there. But that's basically it. We love to help upcoming musicians get heard. And as far as misconceptions with the whole Florida thing, we have interviewed a lot of bands in Florida that I still keep in contact with. So if you need any connections in Florida, let me know. We can try to hook you up.
Hell yeah. And, I see Bo chiming in and Twitch, Elijah's in. So, and shoot, my band Forged by Titans is hopefully releasing a new track soon. Maybe you can check my track out too. I'll be down. That sounds fun.
Of course, yeah.
Hell yeah. So again, this is Jen Conley with Bangover Cult, and she is going to stick around with us for the remaining bands and give us some feedback on the tracks and help us co-host the show as we move along. And with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next band, which is Supposition, and I got Eric and Nick here with us. Why don't you guys, well, first off, welcome back, and why don't you tell us a little bit about the band and the track we're about to get into?
Yeah, are we coming in clear?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. So thank you for having us back on here. First off, it was a lot of fun the last time. I'm really glad we're getting to do this again. In terms of Supposition, long story short, Nick and I have been tossing this idea around, more him at me than me at him, since 2018. And we got real serious about a year ago, and I've made a lot of steps to, try and write a whole bunch of music. And this is the second release of all of that music that we've been trying to write. Nick, you got anything to say?
No, that was pretty good TLDR.
Rock and roll. Yeah, let her rip, dude.
Right. And remind me, was it the band name? Not band name. Wasn't it the track name like Kaiju or something like that?
Yeah, the first one was named Kaiju.
Yeah. So I actually, I kind of think I stumbled across it earlier on the playlist. Awesome.
Nice.
So again, this is Supposition. They also sent us a video for the song Straight Jacket. So if you're listening at home, make sure you put your eyes on Twitch so you can watch the video. So here we go.
We
Well, all right. Let me make sure I stop that before it starts playing another track. All right. So Dom, I'm coming to you first since I accidentally skipped you at the beginning of the show. But I do gotta say one little thing. Did you guys forget to mention that Daft Punk was featured in this track? Because I mean, the minute I saw that imagery and heard the stuff going on, I was like, oh hey, I know those guys. No, I'm just messing.
Yeah, I sold my left kidney to secure that feature. It was cheaper than I thought it was going to be, and I really only need one kidney. So
Right, yeah.
yeah, we thought it would help with promotion.
Hell yeah, I love it though. But yeah, Dom, I'm sorry. You go ahead, take this away.
Freaking badass, guys. This is honestly what I wanted like Inter Shikari to become. Like just to go freaking heavy as shit and have like the synth stuff. Oh man, that was awesome. So
Yeah, appreciate that.
So I mean you guys have been on here before, correct? Remind me.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess for everyone else, like how did you guys form? Like when did you guys start? How did you guys meet?
Well, I mean, Eric and I had been friends to the point of forming the band for, I'd say, like a good decade before then. Just
we lived together
Yeah.
before we had any notion that we'd be playing music with each other.
Yeah,
Which is interesting enough.
one of us in more of like an alternative rock project, the other in like a more of a gent thing. And this amalgamation between the two of us was just kind of something that neither of us truly expected, but we both kind of just landed here. Unfortunately,
Yeah, dude. I lived down in Nashville for like 6 years, and Nick's been up here in St. Louis the whole time. And I mean, we've lived a pretty full life, myself and then him, just completely unrelated. We almost like lost touch in a lot of ways, shapes, and forms for better part of a few years there. And then he started sending me some of the demos that eventually became Kaiju. And this song, like both that first song and this song, came about right around the same time. Like we were working on them kind of simultaneously. And Kaiju just got picked first, so that's what we were doing. And now, I mean, yeah, it's definitely changed the course and trajectory of my life, and
Oh, yeah, for sure.
do the same as well. So
Because up until that point, each of us had more or less left behind playing music.
yeah,
like
I played my last show in like 2016.
Yeah, we
like
definitely
it's been a while.
yeah, we definitely became like serial hobbyists at that point.
Yeah.
We were trying to like go through the motions and try to figure out what we were going to be passionate about next, and nothing quite landed. So we just decided to basically quit our jobs and try this thing.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been interesting.
Dang. So just to follow up on that. So you guys have quit your jobs to pursue music.
I quit my big boy job. But I was gonna quit it anyway, so I don't know if I could say I quit it for music. But yeah, I was working in like exterior home remodeling and consulting and contracting, and that there were a lot of awesome people at that job, but I just didn't quite fit in there. And yeah, I quit that job right around the time that Nick was sending me the demos for it. So I like to joke and say that I quit my job to pursue music, but no, I still work. I'm working constantly at a lot of different capacities. I'm just not doing it in a corporate structure anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So what are your guys' inspirations? Like, I mean, because I gotta go back and re-listen to the last song to get a little familiar with it. But I mean, any of you guys have like EDM backgrounds or?
So I personally have a lot of EDM background, just in the sense of I'm a very avid listener for sure. I have had like a ton of practice over, I'd probably say, the better part of 12 years as far as like sound engineering and sound design for EDM. So kind of like pulling together those like drum and bass sections or something to that effect is kind of like something I've always wanted to introduce into metal, especially since early metalcore, like 2007 and 2014, that range. There was a lot of like that A side, B side sound structure where they had metal and then they had those really fun, like suddenly you're fist pumping at a metal show. I wanted to kind of like touch on that, but make it a little bit closer to like the modern festival scene. And so you have like all this like very high end sound design with a ton of ear candy is kind of like the direction that inspired that the most. So people like I'd say AT Aliens and Rez would be huge for that part of the sound for sure.
Is this something you guys mixed and mastered in house?
Nearly all of it, yes. And then we have one of our good friends go over it and put the final touches and do the full production master for it.
He also plays all the drums that we write. We're both guitarists, and when we go to write drum parts, there's like a pretty good chance that they're not going to be actually playable for a drummer. So it's kind of like if you find somebody that's pretty proficient at drums and you give them something that's like relatively close to what you need it to be, and then you have them make it real. That has been our relationship with our producers. Be like, hey, is this playable? And he's like, no, but I'll make it playable. And then he kind of goes through and does all the tweaks and the nice polishing and the shine, and it just makes it sound absolutely fantastic. That dude is a wizard at what he does. His name's Brian Lowry. He goes under the moniker Thor. He's the guy that does all of the composition, mixing, and mastering for a lot of the Doom releases that have come out since Mick Gordon had his fallout with Bethesda. Brian got that contract, and I've known him for about a decade and a half. So yeah, I guess probably like a little over a decade. I worked with his old band on a number of different things, but yeah, just to kind of see what he's become and that he can make time in his schedule to work with us has been really humbling. That dude is one of the reasons why I still take music seriously. So it's been cool to work with him.
I would have to say the same thing, to be honest.
Yeah, he's the dude.
Yeah, well, freaking awesome track, guys.
Thank you.
I enjoyed headbanging to both the metal and fist pumping like I was up in the club. Or I was at like a Bass Canyon festival. I was sick. But I'll probably,
Hell yeah,
That's
dude.
the vibe.
yeah, I'll probably pass it on to Jen if she has any questions.
Yeah, let's pass it over to Bangover Cult.
Cool.
All right. Well, first of all, sick video and a killer song. How did you come up with the concept of shooting it visually like that?
I think that you'd probably have more input on this than I would personally.
Yeah. So the idea, the metaphor, I mean, if you look at the way that the song's spelled, it's a $, and then it's spelling straight jacket. It's just a song conceptually about the limitations of like money in the modern world and how a lot of people that have this like dream of pursuing some sort of like creative venture are kind of like met with this choice or this trade-off of really being able to pursue it versus being able to afford to live in the modern world. And it's a real challenge to kind of like navigate that balance, and that's kind of what the song's about conceptually. And the video is a little bit more literal in the fact that I'm literally inside of a straitjacket in the video, which by the way is awful, terrible. Never that was like a real straitjacket, and I don't think I was psychologically prepared for what that was going to feel like when they like, pulled my arms behind me. I was like, oh yeah, no, this is
He got scared straight.
Yeah, it was it was definitely a wake up moment for sure. But we filmed that. There's a studio warehouse down in Atlanta that we found. We were looking for people to do our video and work with us on that. And the guy that ended up doing it, his name is Nick Erickson. He's from a band called Cohen Noise. He is an incredible visual artist as much as he is a musical one as well.
That band's nuts.
But I didn't find it through him. I found it through another guy that said that he shot a lot of videos down there. So I just went and checked out the space and was like, oh, wow, I think I might be able to book this myself, kind of a thing. And we were able to get some time down there. So it became a big multi-city logistics thing of going from Nashville up to St. Louis, back down to Nashville, back to Atlanta, back up from Atlanta to Nashville to St. Louis in 2 days. And it was so much fun. We had a blast. It really was a great time shooting that. But the space was incredible. I mean, they had all of these like pre-built sets, and there was a set that was obviously the padded room, which definitely fits the insanity vibe of a straitjacket. And then there's like a bank vault with a bunch of fake money inside of it.
The 90s rap videos.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of like really cool setups inside of that studio warehouse. And it's interesting. I didn't realize, because you see it online of it just being a space to go and shoot at, and I walked in there. I'm like, look, they've got this like giant hallway right at the beginning of the compound that has like a bunch of framed pictures of all of the artists and the videos that they filmed there. And I'm like going down the aisle looking at all these like crazy famous A-list Atlanta rappers, and I was like, we don't freaking belong in here. Like, what do we get ourselves into, dude?
Literally looking for things that I can just like move around and just fuck with.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of stuff that we had a really good time with.
So
that.
dope.
But yeah, no, shout out to Nick Erickson. He made that video look so good, and he did it so fast. He had like the final video back to us in like 3 days, and I work in like visual design and graphic arts and stuff like that, and like a quick turnaround is really I think one of the biggest indications on like how serious someone is about their work. And yeah, I just can't say enough good things about working with him on that. He really brought that vision to life. And you know, be it that I work in visual and graphic arts as well, I could be a little neurotic and controlling about things. So the fact that I didn't feel like I really needed to be at all with that, he just did a really good job on it, and we greatly appreciate him.
Well, very cool. That was awesome. I feel like the whole video and the song went together really well, and I loved it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So Bo, you want to chime in here? This is your last chance before you take off your host hat.
Okay, couple quick boring questions. First off, song was great, video was awesome.
Thank you.
So I saw an 8-string multi-scale Ibanez, one of the models that came out last year, like the silver with the gold hardware.
Yeah.
Those things are so sick. I really wanted to pick one up when they first came out. What kind of tuning are we using for this song?
Ever since I first started listening to like Meshuggah and everything, it's either been just F standard or drop E for me. I liked experimenting and messing around with how low I can get all of it to go and all of that. And I've played with everything from like double drop C, like our other homies, and everything else. You know, it's so much fun to play with an extended range guitar. But, you know, I just like to land on that drop E because then the rest of the guitar is still in standard tuning. And then I have that extra octave on that E, and it just fits for most things in the style of music that I go for. If I'm picking up the 8-string, I know that I'm going to be able to rip off something really dope.
Hell yeah. I get that a lot. The electronic parts in the video was kind of interesting because it's such like a night and day thing where all of a sudden you just shift to like the two Daft Punk looking guys.
Right.
Yeah. So was that like you two guys just, you know, in a costume for that part, or what were you doing for that?
And so suited up in some masks that we were trying to experiment with to see if that was going to be a vibe, and whether we don the masks again or not is something we may or may not play with. But for that video specifically, it was.
I gained so much respect for like what those guys in like Aviana and Sleep Token and Slipknot are doing when they're like playing that intricate of music in a mask. Is that it's limiting, very very limiting, and really uncomfortable, and above all those things, so hot. It is so hot inside of those masks.
If you've got that mask on and you're trying to like play an instrument, you better know where those notes and where those fingers need to go, bro.
Or you better look like you know what you're doing. Just playing a really convincing track.
Yeah. Why you guys think I ditched the mask for the show? I was getting winded just sitting down talking on a mic. Couldn't even drink anything.
They're fun. I don't know. We literally I did the music video for the song that we're gonna put out here in the next month. I literally just wrapped it today. We finished the final edit on that, and we employed them in a different capacity in this next music video. And I think that's probably what we're gonna do moving forward, is just find like a limited, quick way to pay homage to the mask. But it's like, yeah, as far as like playing and you know, playing accurately, I don't know if we're good enough to try and take that on.
Well, it's maybe less about like being good enough. It's hot.
True, yeah, that's fair.
Let me tell you something. We just played another show last weekend, and yeah, I think it was like a high of 90 degrees outside here in Indiana in September. And you know, we have to have that discussion before the show, which is, I'm doing shorts. I don't even care. You know, we got this little old venue that just has like one of those things where they just have like a $200 like in-wall AC that would sit like, in your window of an apartment or something, and that's like just cool the whole space with 100 people in it. You're like, no, bro. So I understand that a lot, man. Like trying to, if you ever try to do something like that live, like
we were
good
already
luck.
in a humid environment being in St. Louis, so like it already feels
Yeah.
like I'm trying to breathe through someone like pulling a blanket over my head. Like I'm not trying to make that any worse. But if I'm going to play an outdoor show in the middle of summer, especially, there's no way.
On the polar end of the weather side of things, when we were recording this song, I was still living down in Nashville, and we had like one of the worst ice storms in like the last century. We got stuck inside for like almost a week. I mean, I tried to drive my car to the grocery store one day and slid straight off into a ditch and was like, okay, well, I guess I will go home and work on music for this however long it takes to thaw. And it was bitter cold. Like it was like 5 degrees outside, and my girlfriend and I were both like pretty sick during the week that I was recording. And I'm glad that I had a whole week, because I would like get vocal takes in and about 30 minutes and be like so worn out that I just have to like give up and come back at it like the next day after I consume like, I don't know, a gallon of throat coat tea and chewed on a whole bag of Hall's cough drops. But we made it happen. It's fun. Temperature's cool, right? Living on Earth and stuff.
Yeah. That's all I got for now. I'm going to turn it over to Forge. I know he's probably got some questions. I left him some good ones. So
Yeah. So, just to touch base on some of the vibes, obviously I keyed on Daft Punk real quick, but in chat I saw someone say that this was like the gent cousin of some old school Attack.
Yeah,
I think Dom
absolutely.
said some Enter Shikari if they were heavier,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah,
also some Kingdom of Giants kind of vibes too.
oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a name I haven't heard in a hot minute. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's how you know. That's how you know someone's lying about being a metalhead, I guess. If they can only name the same bands that are on the Billboard charts, they're not really metalheads. But but yeah, great track. Again, the mix and master, very impressive. Especially whenever you have so many elements being introduced into a track and all the layering you have to do. Sometimes it's real easy to get muddy or to lose something in it. But as you guys are navigating all those different genres and vibes, it all stayed very clear, and just going from heavy to EDM to heavy, it was a great journey. We use that word a lot, and because there are bands that sometimes write cookie cutter tracks where you kind of know what's going to happen next all the time. And so whenever so when you get a track like this where it just like on the drop of a hat, it shifts gears, it keeps it interesting, kind of keeps you guessing, all right, what are they going to do the next time they want to change? So and you guys did a really, really awesome job with it. So I'm really impressed with it. I do like, I don't know, I love people that experiment with all the different subgenres and step outside of metal. So I love hearing stuff like this. So down to the business, where do you primarily want people to go to check you guys out?
Like YouTube and Spotify are probably where we're going to shoehorn people in the most.
Yeah,
but we are available everywhere you can listen to music.
They're definitely the most accessible on Spotify. There's no other Supposition band yet. I don't know, knock on wood. But we've fortunately been the only one in regards to that. Might be a little harder to find on YouTube. Usually you can just type in Supposition band, and that should get you to both Kaiju and Straight Jacket. I would definitely kind of push people, even though Spotify is a dumpster fire of a platform for artists, it does still technically matter. We've made a pretty good point of trying to make it accessible for people on there.
Yeah, and I know we talked about a bunch of things with you guys, just having to travel and being far apart than not being far apart. So what's gigging looking like over the next few months or so? You guys got any of that happening?
We're working on it. I moved back up to St. Louis back in May, and have just sort of been acclimating to being back up here so close to Nick. Also, our drummer, who we haven't really mentioned or said anything about yet, he also lives up here. He's in the video that we just watched and is just an absolute unit of a musician. And an even better dude.
Verified octopus. I've seen it.
Dude, the guy is unbelievable, just a machine when it comes to the kit. But yeah, no, we've been making a pretty notable step into trying to get this live. Has kind of been the goal. We're hoping to have. We've got, I mean, as far as like full tracks that are done and playable for a show, 4 that are done. And we've got, I'd probably say like 4 more that are, 2 diligent weeks of work away from actually being something that we could play live as well. So it's, we're definitely in the process of rehearsing this stuff and dialing it all in and making it make sense. We definitely need, another bassist or another guitarist to kind of ideally be able to play shows, but if we got to track stuff,
Really, that's just time space too.
Yeah,
In like as far as like composition and all of like the back end work, it's all really there. We're in a streamlined position to where workflow is incredibly easy. Like for the most part, I do a lion's share of the instrumental composition, and like I have like hundreds of songs as riff soup, and then I'll put one of those, I'll spruce it up, and then make it flow correctly in a song format, and then I'll throw it over. We'll take it back and forth between us for a little bit, and then we'll put it out there. But that being said, like the door's wide open at this point. We just gotta like reach out, grab whichever one we want to work on, and then make it all nice and pretty for everybody. That's really the position we're in now.
Yeah, we're probably going to play shows by the beginning of next year. And if we're playing shows, we really want to make sure that we're happy with kind of how everything sounds. Nick and I both played in bands kind of back in the day. Same with our drummer as well. And all of us have kind of like navigated this path before and become a bit of a, perfectionist in regards to things, which can be a blessing and a curse. It definitely, we would have liked to have been playing shows probably by now, but just time hasn't really allowed for that. Circumstance hasn't allowed for it to be at the level that we want it to be before we take it live.
Uncle Sam said he wants my money.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, well, again, everyone listening at home, this is Supposition. I got Eric and Nick here. We just checked out their track. And again, if you happen to not write down all those platforms that they're on in your little black book, remember that this band and the band Misconceptions from earlier tonight will be on the Banger Wednesday Spotify playlist. Please go find it, save it, listen to it. It plays really well in your car. It'll even play really well when you're taking a deuce in the bathroom. Just get it, listen to it, and you have no idea how much that helps these bands fight the Spotify algorithm to get more listens and get heard everywhere. So make sure you take that time to do it. What's up, man?
You put the link in the chat below this video, correct? For the Spotify playlist?
So yeah, the Spotify playlist, if you're watching in Twitch right now, let me see if I can make my hand do it. Probably it'll be right over there. You should see Bo plug in the playlist, so make sure you click on that. It'll take you straight to the playlist. Just hit save, and it'll always be there in your library. Thanks for that plug. You might be a host in the making, man.
Hey, man, I do my best.
So again, so again, that was Supposition. That was Eric and Nick. And again, they are a prime example of how this isn't a one-hit wonder show. These guys were on, I want to say it was like really early on in season 2, which seems like a lifetime ago. And here they are back, and they dropped another awesome track, and we're very happy that they came back to do that. And so again, thank you guys for making the time to be on the show, and especially thank you for putting in the hard work to drop such a banging track.
Hell yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Hell yeah. And if anyone just happened to join late, I'll go over it again. We had Misconceptions earlier, we had Supposition just now, and we do have a special guest with Jen Connolly from Bangover Cult Show, and she's sticking around to the end with us to help co-host. And now, something we don't get to do very often, we got 3 co-hosts that kind of do the Banger Wednesday show and help support these bands and ask them questions and get their story out. And every once in a while, one of us co-hosts happen to drop a new track with our bands, and we throw it on the show. So, without further ado, we got Bo, who's going to take off his co-host hat, and he's going to put on his Elijah hat, because we are about to check out a track from Elijah, and I do see that Steve happened to hop on and join us as well. So we got Steve and Bo from Elijah. Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about the band and this new track you dropped?
So the band, we're in Indianapolis. I'm in Lafayette, Indiana. I got to travel like an hour every time we hang out and practice or anything like that. Me and Steve, the singer, started working on stuff like May 2021. And the song you're about to hear is one of the first ones that he and I kind of started working on. We wanted to fill out our set, and we're trying to kind of finish up some stuff. And we came back to this one because it just is one of those that we just knew was going to be something special at some point. It just had like a few things that needed some work. And so, we had finally filled out the whole slots, like our other guitar player, Vic, who just does some amazing stuff. And then our bass player, Ryan, and we all, got to kind of work together to really like finish the song out right. What else you got, Steve?
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's interesting because we I was saying, we started this song in 2021. The things that we kept from it were the chorus and then the breakdown, or parts of the breakdown. But like there was always something kind of missing from it, right? And we wanted to keep it in our back pocket. And there was one day, our guitarist Vic just like tossed out this idea for a riff, and I was like, "This is it. He's unlocked it. Like, we've got our song. This is it." Like he just like, it just came through like a Facebook message. I was like, "This, like, we need to roll with this, because this is it. This is this thing's." So it's one of my favorite songs we've ever written, to be completely honest with you. If you've heard some of our music before, I try and write uplifting music, but the second verse of this chorus was written when I had a bad day at work. So so I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, we're super stoked for you to hear it.
Oh yeah, man. If you don't put your feelings in the song, man, what's the point? I love it. All right. So again, guys, so this is I don't know if this has ever happened. It may have, but if it has before, it doesn't happen often. We've have another video on the show. So if you are listening at home, make sure you put your eyes on the screen so you can enjoy the visual aids. And we're gonna check out this new track by Elijah called Illusion. Here we go.
Get away
All right. So, man, I got stuff to say, but Dom, I'm gonna keep with the plan here. Why don't you go ahead and start this one off?
Yep. Fucking heavy as shit. I love it, dude. That's so sick, guys. The vocal melodies that got layered on there, whether it was the beginning or in the chorus, were freaking beautiful. That was awesome, man. It was just heavy, dude. You guys can't see me. Usually I'm headbanging a lot, but I have been headbanging a lot this show. So, but dang, yeah, that was I can't wait to see you guys live. It's gonna happen one day. I'm gonna come see you guys. But what I guess for anyone who's coming in who's new, we'll start off like what was your guys' inspirations besides having a bad day?
Honestly, I said this earlier and I'll say it again. Like all of the songs are, whether they talk about something like deep or dark, like there's always like finding a way out of it in my lyrics. And I really feel like this song captured a lot of that. It's we all have those moments where we have like dark moments, but for me, like I know there was a lot of music growing up that was uplifting, that was like, you can find your way out of this, you will get your way out of this. And to me, like, that continues to be a goal in the music. And so that to me is like the driving force for a lot of these songs.
Hell yeah, I love it, dude. It was your vocal construction. You're a lyricist. It was really good, and what you guys made was really catchy. Like, just melodic wise, actually the lyrics, like, I mean, that's when I can seriously just keep going singing in the car every single day. I freaking love it. Was this mixed and mastered in house? Did you guys outsource anything?
So we actually went to a really good local producer for this one, who's been in the scene, for probably like 20 plus years, just doing, bands like what we're doing. He's worked with some pretty decent names in the like metalcore underground stuff. We kind of had to change up a little bit from who we were using before. It just wasn't efficient enough. We had to make some compromises for consistency's sake. So we're not doing like a studio with real amps and stuff anymore, because it's the only way that we can get stuff out fast enough that's going to sound like cohesive as we kind of build a few songs at a time into a whole nother like EP or CD, whatever we're doing next. Right. So that was kind of little compromises to try to get our kind of vision out a little bit smoother, a little bit easier. So,
Bo, did we use the Gojira plugin?
Guess what? We use the Gojira plugin on this.
The streak continues.
That's all the guitars are the Gojira. We just turned it on and we're like, hey, we could dick with this and make it sound 3 or 4% better if we wanted to, but you know what? Just send it.
And so for anybody new who's watching, we have a saying on this show about the Gojira plugin, and it was like, oh, I bet they use Gojira, but we've literally had almost at least one band every single time using a Gojira plugin for every single show. So it's a good one. If you're watching, some CEO of Gojira or something for the Neural DSP, please sponsor us. We're ready.
Yeah.
But yeah, what guitars did you use?
So actually, it's in a case.
It's the Misha.
No, actually, this one's our. We have a brand from the Czech Republic called Aviator Guitars. That's what Vic discovered. He had one built last year, and it's such an amazing instrument. Me and him both ended up finding ones that were pretty decently priced used on Reverb that are, these are basically like custom guitars. absolutely fantastic 7-string multi-scales. We do drop A. So we both found like the exact same model, just different tops on them, basically. And then he's got another one being built for him right now, and I might also get one in the future. So for me, all my rhythms were on that.
Oh, yeah, Bo likes show and tell, by the way, everyone.
Yeah, we love it.
This is what Bo does.
And then all my leads are always done on this Keith Marrow, this one of the Mark III artists. I've got SFTY 4 pickups in that guy. But there is something about the buttery. So I do like the kind of melodic stuff over the chorus area for my leads. And there's just something like insane about how like thick and smooth the leads are whenever I record with this guitar. So that's it for what we did for all the guitar stuff. Literally just him and my aviators, and then I use this for the leads.
Hell yeah. Well, a freaking badass track, guys. I loved it. I tried to ask some Bo questions. I'm not as good with the equipment questions, but I knew he loved that guitar, so I knew he'd show it to him. But yeah, dude, awesome track, guys. I'm seriously excited to hear where you guys go in this direction. The new guy you guys have, it sounds like everything sounds really, really nice. Everything's crisp. I don't know. I need to go see you guys live. I'm ready.
No doubt.
I'll pass it off to Jen now.
Yeah, Bangover called. Get in here.
All right, that was awesome. I'm a sucker for the clean vocals mixed in with the heavy growls. So, like, who are some of your musical influences?
Oh.
Uh-oh. The question.
Yeah. So I have a few of them. So Haste Today is one of them. They are a few. I'm buddies with a few of the guys in Haste Today. I do some guitar tech for them, but I grew up listening to them, which like I've always learned my harmonies and how to do harmonies from listening to their music. So they're a huge influence on me. Someone else also added one of my influences in the chat, which is Killswitch. I love me some Killswitch. Howard Killswitch. Sorry, I don't know. I don't want to ruffle some feathers, but
We don't need to get into that. We don't have enough time to get into that argument on this show. You know.
That and the third one is Thrice. I love Thrice, and just like the construction of clean vocals is to me those are the three influences.
Like me and Vic, the other guitar player, we're pretty heavy into like Misery Signals is probably like for me and him, that's probably like one of our tops. And then, you know, he's got a lot more techie stuff that he likes and a lot more genty stuff that he likes. And I like just a lot of the old school metalcore stuff. And that's kind of like the whole idea behind the project, is to just kind of go back to that, just, you know, like the first band that was on here tonight, kind of bringing that back a little bit with a little bit of modern flair. And that's, you know, that's just, we're grumpy old guys that just want to bring that music back, you know? So.
Yeah, I can definitely hear those influences in there, and I love it. And obviously you're a host on the show, so everybody else probably knows this, but how did you guys come up with your band name?
That was actually our drummer. I do not do serious names at all. So that was the vibe we wanted, like the old Solid State and Tooth and Nail kind of bands, you know. And we'd been kind of just sitting on it for a while, not really making a decision, just kind of, you know, every couple weeks we'd probably write down like a paper of, you know, whatever random names we'd come up with. And then it just kind of, our drummer came in one day, he's like, hey, what about this? And we checked online and looked around everywhere, and we're like, I mean, we could use it. And then, you know, just kind of went with it. And now there's another Elijah that started after we started doing ours. That's Stay Metal Ray, one of the YouTube guitar players, is on tour with him right now, like with that Elijah band. But you know, we're going with it until we get a cease and desist or something. But they haven't filed an LLC yet, so we're gonna jump on that and work on the trademark part of it. But you know, it was just kind of one of those, yeah, I mean, it fits, and it's just a simple, like just real quick, strong thing. Like, we're not doing religious stuff behind it. We just wanted that kind of vibe for the older solid state bands and stuff like that. So
Awesome. Yeah, that's kind of funny because I actually just saw Point North on Friday, and Elijah opened for them. And but yeah, I mean, I think Elijah's his actual name, so
yeah,
that's your band name. So different concepts. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love the song. It's absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to hear more from you guys.
thank you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and Bangover called Miss Conley. We got a question for you from chat. I got Scarlet Infinite asking us, what shirt are you wearing right now?
Oh, World Shaper. Everybody should check them out.
Yeah, so World Shaper is a band we have had on the show a while back, and Miss Scarlet from that band is a regular listener. So shout out to Scarlet and shout out to World Shaper. So I guess it's my turn now, right? So let me say this. So I kind of lied earlier, and I didn't mean to when I was doing it. Didn't realize it. I say that I never listened to any of the tracks before we played on the show. But Elijah is my boy. So whenever they release something, I go listen to it immediately. And I'm gonna start off with super proud of you guys. I'm not even joking on that one. And I don't remember if it was on Bluebird and if Steve was here for when we did Bluebird. It is Bluebird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And I don't think Steve was here for that, but I was like, man, I'm really impressed with this track. But specifically, I did a little shout out for Steve because it was like, I've heard Steve on the other tracks, and all of a sudden it was like he found like another level on that Bluebird track, and I gave him some props for it. And I say that to say this track as a whole, I feel like Elijah found a whole other gear. It's definitely Elijah, but it's just like a whole other level of Elijah. I am super stoked with the way that track came out with for you guys. And I know it's probably like killing Bo that it wasn't recorded on amps and mic'd, but it sounds amazing, and I really enjoyed the track. I listened to it a few times before we even came on the show. I'm super anxious to hear what tracks you guys got coming up next, because if you guys are planning on going the same route, it's gonna be sick. So again, I'm the business guy. I pumped you up and did my little feelings part, but where do people go to check out Elijah?
We've got this lyric video that was just shown. It's on YouTube. YouTube Elijah Illusion, and it will pop up. And we're on all platforms. And thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate that. Like we recorded this song and one other song at this studio, and like we've been holding on to these songs in our back pocket for a little bit, and it's like an itch you can't scratch. You're like, I gotta release this. And there's a lot of work that goes into preparing for creating lyric videos and the album art and everything else. And the second that it was like 1 week till drop, I was just like so stoked, because this is like my favorite song we've like released so far. So
yeah, it definitely in the best way possible caught me way off guard, because I've heard all the other tracks, and I kind of had a feeling, like we talked about earlier. You hear As I Lay Dying, you're like, okay, I'm expecting a certain thing. You hear August Burns Red, you expect a certain. I hear Elijah, I expect a certain sound, and totally off guard in the best way. You guys took what you are and just like elevated it, and just like you said, the visuals, the artwork, the video, everything, it was just an elevated version of what you guys have been doing. And it's really awesome, man. I'm super happy for you guys. It came out great, I think. I will ask a guitar question. Who was doing the sweeping in that like kind of breakdown area?
So Vic, the other guitar player, is the most ridiculous lead player you're gonna meet. He's so clean. Like he probably did that in like 2 takes. Like it was nothing. Like he just boom. Yeah, that was it, and move on. And this is with like a producer who's like super picky about stuff. Like we would like, only like there some of those riffs just to like capture how he wanted it to sound, like the parts that he wanted highlighted more. Some of those riffs he just played like 2 notes over and over and over until he heard like the right one. But Vic just walks in and just shreds that stuff out. He's just insane on that stuff, and yeah, that's why we joke about that sometimes. What we do a lot of the times with like the songs that Steve and I have already kind of worked on a little bit is like I want everybody involved on every part of the song when we can actually sit down and write. So like this is like one of those songs that's like you can tell like everybody had like a piece of this one. And I'm one of those that like when I have like a part of something, I'm just like it's just not right, it's not good enough, whatever. Like I'm never gonna be afraid to be like, hey, I need help with this. Like so, I just send stuff out to Vic. I'm like, hey, Vic, do your thing, and that's literally it. And like he'll come back like a week later and just like, hey, I've been messing with this. I think it's all right. And then we just kind of go from there. And then he'll do that same thing with the lead stuff. We're just like in the Dropbox, like I'll just have the section just sitting there like, Vic, do your thing. And then that's his spot to just throw his leads on, and he'll do that same thing. He'll come back like a couple days later, like, yeah, I think it's all right. And you're like, dude, what are you talking about? That thing is amazing. Come on. But we're all super humble about that stuff. But Vic just he lights it up, and even live, he just lights that stuff up. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, it was very super clean. That's why it stuck out to me, because at certain points I was kind of questioning whether it was actually a sweep or if he was actually picking every single little note or not. It was so pristine. And I'm a rhythm guitar player, and I cheat leads. I do a lot of layering and stuff like that. I mean, I can't even sweep my own floor properly. So kudos to him for that, because that takes some skill to get that clean, especially in that few takes.
Yeah, I'll just say he plays it live effortlessly, cleanly, like to the point where it sounds like just what you just heard on this track. Vic is a monster from another planet. I don't know what planet it is, but it is an awesome planet, and we are so stoked to have everyone in this band brings something to the table, and I absolutely love it.
Oh yeah. So we were talking about you guys playing a gig recently, and you got some more tracks in the chamber. So give me some timelines. What kind of shows you got coming up, and what is it looking like for some new tracks? What kind of timelines?
I'm not sure about the track release, and Steve will say that one. We've got a big show, Sunday, October 27th, in Indy. We're playing with the headliner is a band called Downswing, and like huge following online. So that's probably going to end up being like one of our bigger shows that we've ever done up to this point. And then we get to play with a couple of the other bigger indie kind of metalcore, genty kind of bands, Takers and Perceptions. So that's going to be a wild show. And then we got another one right after that in my hometown in Lafayette with some of our bands and a couple touring bands from Wisconsin. But yeah, we definitely have gotten pretty comfortable live. I handle the backup vocals and do a lot of backup screaming with Steve while I'm playing.
Nice.
It's taken a lot because we do some like pretty like sneaky, intricate like rhythmic stuff. So like trying to do that, or trying to do like my like that song right there, like the chorus, like I'm playing the lead part and doing the backup vocals with Steve while I'm doing that lead part on the chorus. So it took a long time to kind of get to where I was really comfortable to like jump on the mic while I was playing. But Steve, what's going on with that other song?
Yeah, we've got another song that's in the pipeline right now. We call it Parkway Thrive. That's its name, its tentative name. We've got a few real name ideas for the track. Funny, I've got my other laptop open. I've been working on album art for it. We're thinking about calling it either Curse or Curses, and it is like a song to whenever we play it live, I end up jumping like the entire time that we play it. Even when we're practicing, like it's a song that is just like, it's a groove, and it's like a nasty groove with the verse guitar lines. And there's like a lot of singing in the song too, like with the bridges and the chorus lines, like crazy stuff. So I'm really stoked for it.
Oh, just hell, dude! After this track you guys just released, I'm stoked for it too. Like I said, I'm gonna repeat myself. You guys just found a whole new gear for Elijah, and you dropped the clutch and you sent it, and it hit. You know, so again, dude, just keep doing what you guys are doing. You guys got the right flavor right now. Just keep it rolling. But again, for all those listening at home, we had a awesome show tonight. We just listened to Elijah's track. We had Supposition on. We had the band Misconceptions on, and we had a special guest host, Jen Conley from the Bangover Cult Show. But you know, real quick, I want to go over to Bangover Cult one more time. So, Jen, why don't you remind everyone where they can find the Bangover Cult Show and how they can go about getting their band on?
All right, yeah, thanks. So you can find us Bangover_Cult on Instagram, Bangover Cult on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. If you want to contact us to get your band on a live with us, just hit me up on any of those socials or bangovercult@gmail.com. And we're happy to help out any up-and-coming artists who want to get their music out.
Hell yeah. And again, along with those plugs, the earlier bands and Elijah, if you, for whatever reason, didn't write it down in your black book, or you lose your black book in the near future, all of these tracks will be on the Banger Wednesday Spotify playlist. Hit the link in the little Twitch chat somewhere's over there, save it, listen to it, and just, you know, spending an hour a day listening to that playlist does tremendous amounts of things for the bands on it. And that's what it's about. We do this for the bands because, you know, they want to get heard, and this is how we do it. We support them. So again, thank you to Misconceptions, Supposition, Elijah, the Bangover Cult for joining us, and also a special thank you to Dom and Bo for joining me on this ride. You know, here we are deep into season 3. Oh, it reminds me. So we're coming up, believe it or not, on the 1-year anniversary of the show. That's going to be in a couple months. I'll try and think of something cool to do for that. And also, we talked about it a while back. We are going to do some type of Halloween show. We think we're going to do it the Wednesday night before Halloween, so that should be the 30th. I'm going to get some of the bands that have been on the show, hopefully, that were masked bands. See if we can get those guys back on. I'll pull that mask off the wall. I'll convince Bo and Dom to put something on. You know, I hate to make them hide their beautiful faces, but, you know, it's Halloween. But so stay tuned for all that. We're going to try and do all those cool things. And again, if you do have the time to make it over to YouTube and subscribe, make sure you go onto an episode and type in the word certified so you can get a chance to win the full lineup of swag from the merch store. All right. And let's see. So we always end the show by playing a track off the Banger Wednesday Spotify playlist. And tonight, you know, I think I'm going to throw a little something special for our boy Dom. He recently released a track from his band Set Alive called Strangulation. So I think I'm going to play us out with that. So, as always, stay safe, keep banging your heads, and we will see you next Wednesday. So here we go. Enjoy this track, and we'll see you guys soon, okay? All right, good night, Twitch.